Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I'm gonna wait till we get everyone kind of on board before I get going. So let me get my iPad set up so I can see comments. Let's see, where am I? It's not showing in my video. There I am. All right, now we're ready to rock and roll. All right, so tonight we are going to stitch up a freestanding design on either a hoodie or a tote. I'm going to show you how to hoop both, but I am not 100% sure on like what I feel like stitching up tonight, whether a hoodie or a tote, but I guess we'll decide when we get there. A couple quick things before we get started. So hopefully you have your design loaded to your machine and like whatever item you want to stitch on ready to go. I have mine prepped and ready. I have a tote prepped and ready. And I have a hoodie prepped and ready. One thing I mentioned in the supplies and in the event page too, I talked about polymesh fusible stabilizer. It looks like this, so it's really kind of thin. It's almost, you can like see through it. One side has an adhesive that's activated by heat and the other side does not. And I use this on everything that I stitch, that is garments or even totes. Things I don't want to have a ton of stabilizer on, but I want to give it some extra stability, just so you're not having to put bulk behind the design. So you'll still use your stabilizer in your hoop, but I actually fuse this directly onto the item that I'm stitching. So I have it on this hoodie, and the design we're doing has a lot of satin stitching, so I actually have 2 layers on it on mine. So I put 1 layer down, and it's still pretty lightweight. I have 1 layer on, and then what I do is I take a second layer and I place it the opposite direction, because there's kind of a grainer direction to this. You can't really tell on camera, but the best way to do that, if you really want to get some structure and stability on like fabrics you're not sure how it's going to hand up to like heavier stitching, just use 2 layers of this, one direction, then when you cut it, flip it the other way. One thing I've learned about this too, I had problems with it kind of peeling away on me. And I learned because I was fusing it onto my item with way too high of heat. So normally when I use things like interfacing, I stitch at a pretty high heat, like over 300 is what I'm doing when I use my heat press or my iron to get the interfacing on the fabric. But with this stuff, the sweet spot is actually 260. Someone in my test group or the main group told me about that, because I'm like, you know, I kind of struggle with it peeling off on me sometimes. And so I cut it away, but they're like, no, you need to stitch it at lower heat, or fuse it at lower heat. So I started doing that and I had much better results. So it's probably a good idea to read the manufacturer directions for things. If you're like me and you don't, now you know. 260 is a sweet spot for the polymesh stabilizer here. In my hoop, I have 2 hoops ready to go. I have a medium, I can't remember, this is like 1.8 or 2 ounce cutaway. Got 2 hoops ready to go. I am stitching the 5x7 size. I have found that on sweatshirts, hoodies in general, 5x7 is a good size for me. I normally wear like a adult medium sweatshirt, sometimes a large if I want a big comfy one. Either way, on both a medium and large, I find that 5x7 design is a pretty good fit on the actual sweatshirt itself. You don't need to cover the whole space up. If you're doing a larger size, you don't want to get the larger design size in there, but 5x7 is usually pretty good for most hoodies and things like that. With totes, I do 5x7 or 6x10, just depending. What I'll say is if you have a 6x10 hoop, I will sometimes just be lazy and I will hoop my stabilizer in a 6x10 hoop, even if I'm stitching a 5x7 design. Sometimes on towels, I like that it gives me a little extra space to kind of place my towel and stuff in. But when you're doing things that are pre-made and you don't have a lot of working space to get things in the hoop properly, I always stay with the smallest size hoop that I can for that design. So I'm going to stitch in 5x7 for both of these. It just makes it easier so you're not trying to wedge things in. Doing a 6x10 design on a tote, it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's doable. It just takes a little extra time and probably some more cursing, but it's totally doable. So hey everyone, you found me. We're here. So I'm going to show you how I do each one of these. So before I do that, I want to talk quick about vinyl. So this is an applique design, and you can do it with either vinyl or fabric, totally up to you. We've talked a lot about appliques over the last 10 weeks in vinyls, but specifically with items that you're gonna wash, you're gonna make sure that when you're looking for a vinyl, that you're gonna look up for a vinyl that's gonna handle the heat of the dryer, going through the machine cycle. And I have found that some vinyls stitch better than some and handle better in the laundry than others. Years ago, we were all kind of getting our vinyl from like the same few suppliers, and I didn't really notice an issue with it, but now I've tried a bunch of different shops, and I've noticed with some, they just don't handle as well. And some consistent things I've noticed with the vinyls, especially with glitters, is that over time, if you don't have the right vinyl for it, this glitter will actually like peel away from the backing on this. And so if you're doing on a garment or a towel, that's not something that you want. I found the most likely culprits for this are the glitter vinyls that have that like fuzzy backing, and they're not quite as thick. You can even kind of see my hand through this. These don't tend to hold up as well on appliques if you're washing them. They're great for like, you know, doing things for bookmarks and key fobs and things like that, but not things for the laundry. What I have found is that things like glitter canvas, which means you've got your vinyl on it, you got your glitter on it, but it's got this backing, if you can really kind of see, that's almost like a, it's like a canvas. So it doesn't have that fuzzy back to it. These tend to hold up better for me in the wash. I'm off the camera because I'm like backwards. Also, marines are always a good go-to. Marine vinyl is actually meant to be used for outdoor purposes, like originally for boats, and they use them for covering furniture outside and things like that. So it will handle the heat and things better. But if you don't know what you're doing, I would contact the shop that you are buying from. One, see, can they tell you whether or not this is something that they can tell can be washed and dried no problems, or maybe get some samples and give it a try first. I am using tonight, this is, I think this one is a glitter canvas from My Punk Embroidery. I've always had good luck with their vinyls through the wash, the glitter canvas specifically. And this is a diamond dust from So Unique Design. And Michelle's great on So Unique Design. She'll tell you on the actual web listing for the vinyls what it's good for and what it's not. So don't ever be shy about reaching out to a shop and be like, hey, how does this handle being washed and dried? The other option is to use whatever vinyl you have, but if you're selling it, I would make sure to advise your customers that they don't machine dry it. I'm super lazy. I don't hang dry anything, so pretty much that's going to be a no-go for me, but that could be a good kind of backup for you too, just to make sure. You don't want the glitter part peeling away the vinyl from you. So that's the dryer, it's the heat of the dryer that's going to get that the most, more than it is the washer. So it could be a good practice just to not put your applique garments and things that you made with vinyl in the dryer. The same goes with towels too. So, but I just throw everything in together. So that is me. So it's important to me that I have vinyls that I know are not going to peel away. They're going to handle repeated washings and being in the dryer on that high heat. So if in default, go with your marine, or contact the shop, the seller of the vinyl, and ask. So that'll give you a good gauge. But glitter vinyl, canvas is my go-to more for things that I know are gonna get a little more heavy usage. I don't know why it seems to work better than the fuzzy back vinyls do for me with the glitter. It just does. And it's glitter that's the biggest problem with that. They tend to want to flake away more. So that's kind of my little speech and caveat about using vinyls and glitter vinyls here. Hi Kelly, hi Deborah. So yeah, Deborah, you're good. That is the right way to go, is to hang dry your shirts and do that. I'm just, honestly, I don't do laundry. I'm not gonna lie, my husband does like all of the laundry in the house. So it is, yeah, I mean, he would do it if I asked him to, but since he does it all, I'm kind of like, you know what, you're doing a great job, just keep going. But that's it for that. So I'm going to use these two colors tonight. A couple of things that I'm going to be using. I know I've talked before about Sew Tight magnets. I love these, especially for sweatshirts and totes. Putting them in, they're super strong magnets. You'll pinch your fingers if you get them in the way, and they're great for holding things in place without having to use a lot of pins, because I stab myself with pins a lot. So these are a good option. I did also, you can look on Amazon. These Sew Tights are actually kind of pricey for what they are. I think, I want to say a 6-pack's like, which is all you'll ever need is the most 6, is like $25. So it's kind of pricey, but they're worth their weight in gold. Also, I did try to get these are name tag magnets. So they're made for putting like employee name tags on and holding inside. You've seen them, people with their badges and stuff on. These are strong and they do work, but I have found that these are not actually as strong as the So Tights. So I got these to try, and these were super cheap. These were like $6.99 for like a 10-pack of these name tag magnets. But they're just not quite as good as the So Tights, so I don't use them as much, but I have them. Secondly, I like using these cheapy hair clips from Amazon. I think the dollar store even has them. Just these little small 1-inch, 2-inch, I don't know. These are great for helping keep excess fabric out of the way so they don't get tucked under and you don't stitch on things you don't want to stitch on. You'll get a sweatshirt sleeve stuck underneath or a hood or a string or a fold over. These are great for keeping them out of the way. So these I'm going to use every time I do any kind of pre-made design that I'm stitching on. So, all right, so I have my stabilizer hooped, my items ready to go. I'm going to start with the sweatshirt. They always seem to give me a little more grief getting them in the hoop. So I have a few options here for marking. If you're using a dark fabric like me, this is, I'm going to turn it inside out now, or right side out rather. It's going to be hard to see if you're using a marking pen. And also you got to be careful with some marking pens because they'll say that they're washable, but they will leave a mark forever. So kind of my go-to for a lot of things is this Choco pen by Clover. It's actually filled with chalk, if you can tell. And it leaves a nice little, just a line where, can you see there? That brushes off, washes out, but it's great for knowing where your markings are so that you can see what you're doing. If you don't have these, my other standby is masking tape and a Sharpie. You can use this too. So if you don't have a marking pen tonight, you don't have chalk to use, you can use this. So the first thing I'm going to do when I'm doing a sweatshirt or anything really is I need to find the center where I want to place this design. Okay. So normally I would even have an iron to help me do this, but I think I can do it without tonight. So I've got mine laid out flat here on the table. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center point. I'm going to fold it in half first from this pocket. Okay. So you want the design centered here from this pocket to this top. So I'm going to measure just to give me a little rough idea, and then I'm going to fold it, but I'm going to make sure my fold line's right. So from here, my collar to my pocket, I've got about, turn my ruler the right way, I have just about 13 inches. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this pocket here, okay, right up to my collar. Okay, so I've got my, you can't really see well on camera, but I've got the edge of my pocket up to that collar. And what I'm going to do, especially with an iron handy, is you're going to give this a good press, and it's going to give you kind of a center line here. Don't mind my heat press being angry over there. All right, so here I am here. I'm a little crooked. All right, I've got my center line here. Fold this down, and you can see on camera, I've got a little line right across here. Okay, so what I'll do now, just to make sure, take a ruler and just kind of make sure that that center line is still going to be even. So I've got it about just under 6 inches, which is right, or just over 6 inches, my bad, just over 6 inches. And I'm going to go across and make sure that I had it folded up nice and neat. So that line that I've made now is right around where it needs to be. Okay, so I'm just over 6 inches all the way across, 6 1/4 inches, six and a half, something like that. Now that I know my line is straight, take your marking pen and you're just going to mark across with that ruler. In fact, I'm going to get my big ruler so I can see better what I'm doing. All right, my giant ruler here. So here is my, it's all fun and games when you get a glittery, sparkly ruler until you try to see in the dark through the glitter. And that does make it a little challenging here. So I might be, let's see. I'm gonna go back to my small one because I can't see through the glitter. I don't have my glasses on. All right, this is 3.5 inches. We're gonna go up. I'm gonna eyeball it here now since my big ruler isn't working. Make sure I'm straight. And I'm gonna mark that center line now. So just go across, mark your center line. All right, so I have a line across this way. Okay, that's gonna be centered horizontally now. Now the next step, now we need to get a center fold this way. So we're gonna do the same thing. And also, here's the deal. If you don't have a marking pen, that masking tape and Sharpie I was talking about, lay that masking tape right across. Just lay it across the center line and take your Sharpie and draw it across on the masking tape. So you can do that option too. All right, so now that I have this marked, I'm now gonna find the center this way. So I'm just gonna fold it in half, bring it over, get it nice and lined up. Bring it up so I'm sure I have all my sides lined up evenly. I'm matching here at the bottom of the arm seam here. I've got my bottom seam lined up here, and I'm just gonna do the same thing, give it a nice press down. So I marked here in the center. Take an iron if you want to create a crease line, but usually I find just kind of pushing it with your hands and then marking it gives you just enough. See, here I am this way. I have a nice smooth line now from this side. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's a nice little fold line there. So I'm gonna do the same thing and take my ruler, and I am going to, I really should have done a light color sweatshirt so I could see better, but here we are. All right, now I'm gonna mark the center line this way. So now I have this nice little grid on my shirt. You can see it. Nice little, oh, I'm really close there. That lighting's terrible, I'm sorry. Get a little closer here. I've got a nice little cross there, and this in the center tells me the center of where I'm placing my design. And it's important not just to find the center right in the center of the sweatshirt, but to take it to the edges, because we're gonna kind of match it up on our hoop when we get it in. So I've got this ready to go. Now, take your hoop. I really need to do a better job at ordering my table. Take your hoop, okay? And I want you to slide it in. And do you see on your hoop, you will have this little mark here at the bottom. It's like a little nub. You'll have a little nub here at the top, and you'll have nubs here on the side, okay? So these are important because we're gonna make sure that the edges of the line that we made is lined up here along the edges here on both the sides and the top. So I'm gonna slide my hoop in. And this is where you kind of gotta get a little back and forth action going on. So I'm gonna line it up. I'm gonna feel for, I'm gonna kind of use your fingers here. It's like a tactile thing. So kind of peek into the top, find kind of roughly where that little nub is. And then I want you to take your finger and I want you to kind of push down till you feel that nub. So now I have it aligned here, okay? Now, I need to come to the side here, and by moving this kind of back and forth, I'm doing the same thing over on this side. I'm feeling for that nub. I'm actually pretty close. So just kind of move it, get your nub. I actually have it right away. That will never, ever, ever happen in life ever again. Oh, I'm a little off here on the bottom. So move it this way. Off. 1, 2, 3. I got it. Look at that. That's never going to happen again that quickly. All right. So now that I have it in place, go ahead and take your pins, magnets, whatever you're using, and go ahead and just put one in for now. We want to get, because it's going to shift a little bit once you get this in. So I want you to do, and I want you to go ahead, get that in, one in. You've got the top one. Now come back to the sides. Make sure the sides are still where you want them to be. You can still feel that little nub through that line that you have here, okay? You wanna make sure that's still nice and even. If you're cool with that, go ahead and mark one here. Go ahead and come to this side. Put your magnet in, or your pins. And we're gonna repeat that all the way around just to make sure it hasn't shifted on us and we're still on the lines that we wanna be on, so we're still nice and centered. And now I'm regretting wearing a sweatshirt because now I'm burning up down here. It's a workout. All right, so same thing, making sure I'm where I wanna be, that I can feel that nub through, and it's lined up with the line that I made, and I'm gonna place my sew tight there. Go ahead and get that in place. All right, so now I have them on here. You might want to add more on here too, especially for this next part, because we're going to flip it. So it's practically inside out. So go ahead and make sure once you've got these in place to secure in the right spot, secure it however you need to. Readjust your magnets if you find that it's kind of loose on you. You need to kind of pull them out. Go ahead and do that now. Get that adjusted. Make sure it's nice and tight. Add more magnets as needed. If I can. Going through one half of my sweatshirt instead of two. Yeah, I'm really regretting the sweatshirt tonight too. I'm burning up over here. Usually I'm freezing. All right. And I'm going to start out with more, and as I go, I'm going to pull these apart and take these out. But I like to make sure that I have it nice and tight in the beginning, so it's not going to shift on me. So don't be afraid to go hand with the magnets or the pins, especially in the beginning. All right, so once you feel confident, go ahead and check one more time that everything's still where you want it to be. And now you have this centered in your embroidery hoop. I'm like off to the side here. I hate the fact that I have the camera set up backwards so that it's not backwards for you in reversed. And when I think that I need to move right, I really need to move left. And my brain is like, can't handle it. Okay, all right. Inside. So hang on, Shelby. Let me read your comment here. Yeah, so right now, I'm actually going to flip this the same way you're talking about, where I'm going to be flipping it. So you could even start with that too inside out and put it in place, because that's what we're going to get to. So if I had a smaller one, I would just have it kind of inside out automatically and then do the same thing kind of backwards. If you can't get it inside your hoop the first time. So if I had, let me grab a smaller shirt. I am looking. Okay, I do have a smaller shirt. So let's say this is too small to get, let's say, your hoop inside. So let's say I'm using, I'll reach in front here, sorry, get my back there. Say my hoop's too big, okay? And I can't get this hoop inside there where I want it to be. So what you're gonna do, I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but turn it inside out, do the same process, okay? The same process you had, but you're gonna be kind of going this way. So you're gonna have to kind of look on the inside. Your lines would be in here, and you're gonna kind of go this way, just with this on top, without being the hoop being inside. Does that make sense? So again, I'm gonna throw my back in front of the camera. Oh, I can't reach the hook. Oh, sorry, I'm banging it there. Hopefully that made sense. So this is my sweatshirt. It's hooped, it's ready to go. If I'm gonna go to the hoop with this right now, now is when I'm gonna turn it inside out, because I wanna make sure that this whole backside, underside here is gonna be totally clear, okay? So that's where, when I talk about those clips, they come in handy, because you've got all this stuff that can easily fall into your hoop when you're stitching. And I apparently have cat hair in my hair too, so that's awesome. All right, I'm gonna clip these around. It's easier when you actually get to the machine, because you can see where you kind of need to clip this, just to make sure that your sleeve and your hood and all that excess stuff doesn't get trapped under your hoop, okay? So add as much of these as you need. Do it around, and it's easier when you get into your hoop, because sometimes with the hoodies, the bulk of the hood, you kind of got to like squeeze it under your pressure foot to get it in place. So I'll do it when we get over there, but this is where I'm at with that now. That's why we use the clips. All right, so that is a sweatshirt. And sorry, I just smacked you in the face with the sleeve of the sweatshirt. All right, so here we are. Yeah, Kit, I am just, I'm floating on the design. I'm not hooping the whole thing. All right, so I have my second hoop ready to go, and we have a tote. And totes, same process. Same thing I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna find the center, I'm gonna fold it up take the bottom edge here to the top edge. Just kind of press it along there. Just kind of fold it flat there. So I have a nice center line this way. You see it there? And I'm going to do the same thing with my marking pen that just disappeared off the face of the planet in 2 seconds. Where did you go? Oh, you're on the floor. It's on the floor. I got it. Okay. Let's see. All right. So same thing here. Why can't my ruler walked away too? There it is. Do the same thing. I'm going to make sure if I had my big ruler and could see better, I could tell it's even from the bottom, but I'll go this way. So I'm going to go across and just mark my center line. All right, there's my center there marked. Do the same thing. I'm going to fold it side to side. Make sure I have the right side. I do. Good. I was making sure that the side that I was doing this on had the poly mesh on the back. It does. All right, fold it in half this way. To get my center line here this way. I've got it. Mark that down. Am I there? I'm there. All right, so same thing here. I've got my center marked. This is where, oops, you can see, this is where the center of our design is going to be. But we're going to be doing the same process of getting this into our hoop as we just did, okay? So I'm going to be going this way. Okay. All right, so this is a little bit easier here because I can kind of see my lines, but I'm still, again, I'm looking for those markings on the top and the side that are little notches that tell me where the center is. Let's go ahead and slide that in. Same process, kind of peek down. And you can kind of see, since you're inside, how close you are on that center going horizontally. And on the top. Okay, I got one here at the top that I'm good with. Let me check my side here. Nope, I need to go down. Yep, I'm good on that. I'm good there. Am I good here? I'm good here. And I'm good there. So look at that. It's the same thing. I'm going to take my sew tights. I can get them out of the container because they're such strong magnets. Lord. All right. So again, I'm going to start with one. Oh, I thought I turned you off. I'm sorry, my heat press is freaking out. All right. Get one in there. Check my bottom. I shifted just a little bit. So I'm going to move this over. Check again. I'm good. Check. Put one here at the bottom. I'm in. Check again at my sides. I'm good with where they are. Go ahead and put them on the side. Check the other side. I'm good with it. I can still feel my little, you can even see on camera. It's so dark, you know, just a little raised part there. That's how I know I'm on that line. I can feel it, I can see it. And see, I say that you never need more than like 6 sew tights, and now I'm about out and I'm down to these name tag magnets that I don't like as much, but we're gonna go with it. And I try when I'm using these to get them as close to the edge of the frame as I can, because you do not want to stitch over these. So go ahead and just check again. Make sure they're where you want them to be. And then go to town. Go ham with your pins, with your magnets, what have you. Just so this is nice and secure. Readjust if you need to. I don't like these name tag magnets at all. They work great on small things, but on stuff like this, they just make me angry because they're not as strong. But it's fine. We work with what we got. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, we're good. We're good on that one. Okay. So, Crystal, I did put the bottom of the hoop in first. Or actually, no, I didn't. I did it backwards, but it's okay because I can change the orientation on my machine. So that's one thing when we get over there. I'm going to check again about how when I load this into the machine, what the orientation of the tote bag is. And I'll change the orientation of my design accordingly on my machine. So I think all machines have that capability. So this one I actually am going in. Oh, see, look, my magnet's coming off already. This is actually upside down, but it'll be fine when we get over there. So once I load it in, it's going to be like this, so the top would be here. So I'm just going to flip the design when I get over there. So I don't worry about too much about how I put the orientation of the hoop is, just when I get to the machine where the orientation is, and then I'll adjust over there. All right, so I'm trying to see what I want to do today. Do I want to do a sweatshirt or I want to do a tote? Decisions. Let's do the sweatshirt because I feel like that's a little more persnickety as you're getting in and out for the sweatshirt. So we'll do that. I wasn't gonna do the sweatshirt because I'm gonna go wear this one. It's super cute, but not so much my style to put on the sweatshirt, but we're gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna swing you over to the machine. Again, look away if you get seasick, and I'm sorry if you get seasick. I'm gonna get you over, get you hopefully set up where you can see everything. All right, so here, oh, why are we like, let me see if I can get this down a little bit in this, like, I don't want to drop y'all again. I feel like I drop you every single week. All right, so it's kind of sort of centered. All right, my iPad over, and then we're gonna get the sweatshirt game on the road. I'm really tired, so if I seem kind of off base tonight, that's why. All right, so with my hoodie, ooh, tighten my hoop a little more. All right, so this is where I talk about, you want those clips, but this can kind of be a pain in the butt to kind of get in because you kind of need to feed this in kind of slowly because it might get stuck on this part here. So, oops, and I'm already coming out here. All right, so kind of just urge it through here with the bulk. If you need to, raise your foot up a little bit, but I'm gonna make it work. I always make it work. I'm just gonna pull through on the back to get the layers out of the way. And I am in. All right, so come over here. I'm gonna get that loaded up on my hoop, or on my machine rather. Now I'm locked in place. So it's pretty tight in here right now, okay? So I've got this arm hanging out over here, I've got this arm hanging out over here, and I've got this hood hanging out back here, okay? So this is where I'm gonna make sure I've got my clips, and I reach my hand underneath here, kind of as a fail-safe to make sure I have no extra fabric. No part of this sweatshirt is on the back side of the hoop, it's all on top, okay? So I'm gonna take my clips, and I'm gonna clip this hood up in the back, which you cannot really see very well, just so it doesn't get stuck. Oops, why did you delete my design on me? That was rude. All right, so same thing over here. I kind of did over there, but I'm gonna readjust it to make sure I have my sleeves out of the way. I do not want it to get stuck underneath there. I do not want it to get stitched on. No one will have a fun time. Their sleeve is stuck down. Same thing over here. Make sure I've got these and up and out of the way. All right, so when I do my sweatshirts or totes or anything else that has, like, say, a image design and then text, I like to skip and do the text last and do the center first, because that's gonna help kind of stitch down and secure your stitches here in the center, so your sweatshirt or your tote or what have you is less likely to shift. So I have this design loaded, ready to rock and roll. I feel like I'm a little off here on this. Not quite as tight as I want it to be, but we are gonna be okay. Just pull it over a little bit. That's better. All right, so with this, oh yeah, I should try my bobbin first, Deborah, that's great. Yep. Listen to Deborah, not me. Check your bobbin before you go all this. This is probably gonna run out on me in a few minutes, but we'll find out. I think I'm kind of full, but I did not look, but that's good advice. No, Deborah, you're absolutely right. I should have checked, I did not. So listen to Deborah. All right, check your bobbin, get it loaded, And we're gonna go one last check to make sure I have no fabric underneath here. It is well under and well out of the way of my design. I do not want to stitch under any other part of my sweatshirt. All right, so I guess I'm gonna skip ahead. Actually, on this one, we are stitching design first. This works out perfectly. So I lied, the text is not first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my placement for my waffle. Does my camera seem like blurry today? I don't know, it seems a little off today. I'm sorry for all the thread mess down here. More all the red stuff here on the floor. It's not there. Rebecca, these are Sew Tight magnets. You can find them on Amazon. They're actually called Sew Tights. T-I-T-E-S. All right, so I have my placement for my waffle. Now I'm gonna get my vinyl that I didn't cut to size already. Cut that real quick. And I'm gonna put that down. And I'm actually gonna switch colors real quick so I can see. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the pink since I'll be going that in a minute anyways. I'm burning up down here tonight. Okay, so I'm gonna do my tack down. Slather the vinyl on there and just make sure it's not getting shifted as you're going. So Christy, this is cutaway in there, and then I used a poly mesh fusible stabilizer directly on the back of the sweatshirt. Alright, so this is the part that does get annoying when you're doing appliques on a sweatshirt, is the pulling it out and getting it back in again. But here we are. So I'm going to pull this out so that I can cut that applique. And I'm not even going to attempt to balance this on the frame of the machine like I've done in other weeks, but I feel like at this point we're all pretty confident in cutting appliques. So do what you do. Get that applique piece cut. Usually my basement is, my sewing space is down in my basement. And usually it's freezing down here, but I am burning up today. I even put a sweatshirt on thinking like, oh, I'm gonna so cold. Nope, I am not. I am sweating. So this will be the annoying part, is getting these two applique pieces in place, because you've got to slide it back on your machine and kind of feed that, if you're doing a hoodie, feed that hood back through. And the nice thing too, when you're stitching on even like the totes or the sweatshirts, is because the fabric, because you put the poly mesh on the back and the fabric itself doesn't have much of like a nap to it. It's pretty flat weave. You don't have to use a water soluble stabilizer as much. So I typically don't use water soluble stabilizer toppers on sweatshirts and totes. I just haven't found that I've needed them. So that saves a little bit of time too and headache. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I've got that cut. I'm going to convince my machine to get this all into the presser foot again. And we're gonna do the same safety check, so to speak, get this on the hoop. Oops, I caught a magnet. You moved my magnet. That was rude. Okay. Scooch out of the way here, dude. Everything is like way easier when I don't do this on camera. I did too far. There we go. I'm back in. All right. So same thing. I'm going to go through. I'm going to go under and make sure that I don't have any of my sweatshirt under any part of this. Check my clips. Check my hood back here. Run my hand under the hoop just to make sure I don't feel anything being trapped under. And then we're going to do the same thing for the syrup applique piece. I guess I could have cut my vinyl for that piece too, which I didn't. All right, here's my little jam. In a same thread color. That was not a smart choice, but it's fine. If you do a hoodie that has like a zip and you're doing the back, it's like way easier than to try and do the ones with the hood in the front. This is the hardest one that you'll do is like this. The crew necks are easier too because it's less fabric to work through. The hoodies, like it's not hard as you see, it's just a little bit of like finagling to get all those things in place and convinced to go where it needs to go. Same thing, I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to trim that applique piece and then we'll have to take it off again. We'll be done with taking it off the hoop. See, it comes out way easier. Just likes to be difficult. Go ahead and trim up. Take your time, trim those up really clean. And this piece will take a little bit longer because there's some smaller details there, but just take your time. Don't stab yourself with the scissors like I just did myself. I've made it this far into the skill builders without like causing myself to bleed, so trying to stay on that same track. I haven't bled on a project yet. Well, in the skill blender, I've bled on many projects before, but not on camera at least. All right. Oop, oh, one small area. I want to trim up a little better on mine. Now I'm cool with that. All right, so we start this whole thing over again. Get the back of your sweatshirt up and out of the way. and start working its way onto your machine again. Hardest part, only because it takes a minute. And then we won't have to do it again. It'll be magnificent. I really should have just lifted my presser foot up, but why not make it a little harder on myself? All right, so now I'm good here. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch the center part of this, but I can start taking some of these magnets out. I've got a lot of magnets in there, so I can start taking this out now that I have this pretty much stabilized, and it's stitched onto my stabilizer here. I'm pretty secured. So with this one, I'm gonna go through the design first before I pull them off. And then I typically pull them off depending on like if I'm stitching the top first or the bottom first. I do tend to jump around when I'm stitching my own stuff up. I tend to jump around with the steps a little bit more than what is in the designs. But I think for this one, we can follow it as it goes. So again, I'm just making sure my hood's out of the way. It's not gonna get trapped. Coming over here to my sleeve and my excess fabric here. Get that up and out of the way. Up. Same thing on this side. Just check that and then do your little hand check. Make sure that there's nothing under any part of your hoop back there. All your sweatshirts out to the side. All right. We are good on that. So we're ready to start doing the detail on the waffle. So I think I have it's like a little shadow. We'll do that in this color first. Again, I always like to just triple check, quadruple check that I have nothing that's going to get hit and nothing that's going to get drug under my hoop here. So ready to go. We're going to do that little shadow part there. Betty, my favorite applications are Kai's, K-A-I, curved. I think these are 5-inch, maybe 4-inch applique scissors. I like these. These are my favorite ones to use for applique. Nancy, totes are actually really easier than the sweatshirts are. The sweatshirts are the hardest because of that hood. If you were to do, say, like a zip-up sweatshirt where the zipper opens in the front, getting the back on super easy. Same thing if you're doing like a denim jacket or something. The pre-made sweatshirt with a hoodie is going to be the hardest item that you're going to stitch on. Everything else is way easier. But I decided to show kind of the hardest one first, just so you can kind of see how I do it. But I promise they're not all as challenging as the hooded sweatshirts. Oh, now we're on to the little squares, what have you. I should have used a little darker shadow there, but it is okay. Trying to see if this is gonna show up. It should. Lots of extra thread there. So now we're just going to do all those little lines and the squares and the waffle. I've got a piece of loose thread up there I want to get rid of. So we'll run that step. And again, this is not a project that you want to walk away from when you're stitching, because I guarantee the second that you walk away, something's going to get trapped under your hoop and you're going to have a sleeve stitched under your hoop or something. So this is kind of a project that you're going to want to babysit. Sorry, the dinging, you can hear that. something is not, oh no, it is. Ha, I can't see. So in between like the thicker lines on the waffle, I have just a real single, like a real thin line of stitching, so there's less jumps, and it looked like it wasn't stitching. I'm like, well, it's not supposed to because it's those. We're good. Ignore me. The glitter was just throwing me off. It looked like it wasn't stitching there. The nice thing is we don't have to take it back out of the hoop and cut anything anymore. So that part's all done. Now we just have to babysit and make sure that nothing's getting trapped under as we're stitching. And if you've got a multi-needle, like a free arm embroidery machine, it's way easier than this, but this is kind of your basic domestic, like how you would do it if you don't have that machine. All right, so now we're on to the satin for the cone. That's where that glitter is throwing me because it looks like, I think it's just the way the shadow's hitting it. It looks lighter right there. All right, so we are on to the satin for the waffle. Do I have a good waffle color? Sort of. What color is a waffle anyways? Golden, brown, tan. I guess it depends on how long you toast it for. All right, so now we're gonna do our satin for the outside of our waffle. Don't mind my random mumbling, I'm just really tired. I almost got, oh, why did we stop? I don't like that. Wrap it there we go. My thread looked like it was like wrapped around. I almost made myself some coffee, so I was that tired, but I know if I did and had coffee this late, like I would not sleep, so we are powering through. My thread up here is like knotted and I don't like that. There we go. Did not like that at all. That would cause a breakage. Try that again. Let's avoid a redo of last week's me pulling apart my machine in the middle of the live to dig out a thread nest. Thank you, Penny. From this mindless muttering, I feel like hopefully I'm making sense. We had a birthday party today at the pool, and we did that and came back and really wanted to take a nap and I didn't. I ended up wasting my time scrolling TikTok. So I'm actually ready to go to bed tonight. I'm ready. We had, so for years and years, here's my mindless family again, we had no waffle maker, and I really wanted a waffle maker. And when I worked at the hospital, we had a like white elephant gift exchange, and someone brought in this waffle maker that was like, it was a Sears brand waffle maker, because of how old it was. It was probably from 1976. And I got this waffle maker, and I was so excited for this waffle maker. And my husband was like so convinced this was a fire hazard because it was so old. And I still have that waffle maker, and I refused to get rid of it. And he ended up buying this mini waffle maker to replace it, which, you know how long it takes to bake a bunch of mini waffles? It takes forever. So I still have my old supposed fire hazard, but I bet it's never going to die. It's old. My old Sears waffle maker. Yeah, we had, for dinner, we had hot dogs at the party, and that was pretty much it. And that was at like 4 o'clock we ate that. Now I'm starving. I'll probably go up and eat something very unhealthy before I go to bed because I'm hungry. Maybe a bowl of cereal. And I know we talked last week too, and I think I mentioned in the group, I will be doing a second skill builder bundle, which is different projects. So I'm going to do 8 or 10 this time, but it'll be same format, and we'll do a new project every week. We'll do some shoe charms. I'm going to do some bottle bands. I'm going to do some like planter bands. I had a whole list in my head of things. I'm going to do wallets. I'm going to do a wallet for it, a card case for it. But I can't remember all the projects I had in mind now, but they'll be all like in the hoop projects. So and I'll get that kind of ready to go this week at some point. Mondays have been rough lately, so I don't want to promise tomorrow, but that's my goal, is to get things rocked and rolling for tomorrow. The only thing I say about the lives, with football season coming, I might need to change. I'm going to try and stick with Sundays, but I might need to change the time a little bit on some depending on football schedule. So I want to watch the Bengals play. So, but I think most games are only a couple that are evening games, so 8:30 probably should still be good for the most part, but it may change kind of week by week depending on what's going on. I may be done with football half of the season because my son is playing for the first time ever in high school, and he is on the JV team, but he still has to go to varsity games on Friday in full uniform, and then he has his games on Saturday mornings, and then Saturdays, afternoon, evening, what have you. Our old college team plays, and we usually go up there for that. So probably by, I'm going to say maybe January, if that long, I might just be done with football. That's a lot of football, like 4 days of football. No, 3 days. But it's going to be a lot. So I may just be like, you know what? Forget it. Yeah, Betty, you can watch. So I was initially going to pull these off, and I probably will still put them all like compiled on YouTube in one place. But I think I'm going to leave the events up. So if you go to the main Facebook group, you'll see a tab at the top that says events, and it's listed for every week. And just click on that event, and in the top right, I think it'll show you like where the video is. Click on that, and then you can watch it from there. And my plan is to move some of these to YouTube as well, and just kind of password protect them on YouTube. That way they're all kind of in one simplified place. But honestly, I have not figured out how to do that, like set it up password on YouTube. So that is the overall goal, kind of when it's done, so I can put the collection on one place. But I think I'm going to leave them up in the group, at least until I figure that all out. And also I think too, when I move them to YouTube, you lose the comments. So when you watch the replay from Facebook, you can see the comments kind of as they happen and like the questions that I'm answering. But when I move the video to YouTube, it's just the video itself and not all the comments. So it looks like you may not see the initial question because I'm not great about maybe saying the question before I answer it. I just answer it. So I don't want to like lose that feel of like, okay, this is why she's saying this, or this is a question that she's answering. So I'm not 100% sure what my plan is for that, but it'll definitely stay up on Facebook. Too, and I used to not even be a football fan that much, and just as I've gotten older, like I just enjoy it a lot more. And my daughter did cheer for 4 years for like PV football, and I really love going to PV games. Their PV football was so fun to watch. So I kind of got sucked in. And honestly, like the Bengals have been like the last few seasons up and coming, so that's been exciting to watch. The Super Bowl and all that, so I'm kind of in for it now. And my husband has season tickets to our college, so for their football games, we go up there on Saturdays when we're home. It's just gonna be a lot. Ew, why did that stitch so weird? Oh, I don't like that. Oh. It was just cutting a, why was it cutting a jump there? I don't know. Never mind. It's still going. I was like, why did it stitch like that? I might need to adjust the stop on that to cut a jump out. That might be the issue. I might have missed that right there. So if the machine does that, that's why. I need to go fix that start and end point there. Or my machine does have a hiccup. I'm not sure. Let me know if it does it to you. Me through a loop because it looks like it's missing stitches, but they're there on the waffle part. I'm like, why? It's just the way the light's hitting it. And of course I do like a really stitch heavy project for this. It's like on my machine, it's like an 83-minute stitch out. So we still got some ways to go here on this one. I was thinking too, I wanted to do for this week's, like the freestanding, I wanted to do like Halloween or something, but I realized not everyone celebrates Halloween. I mean, I like the Halloween stuff, so I tried to keep it kind of universal. So that is why I didn't throw any like holiday or like Halloween stuff in there. And I'll do the same thing for the next field or two. I'll kind of keep it universal, so it's not like season specific or holiday specific. Looking at this, so this design has, I got it put up over there, it has just under 14,000 stitches. My machine is showing me 28,000, which is not right. So I may power down the machine here in a second, or at least delete this design and reload it from here, because I don't know why it's showing me that it's got like over double the amount of stitches that are actually in the design. My machine's tired too, apparently. So I'm like, that does seem like a lot. 83 minutes seems like a long time for this stitch out. It should not take this long. So I don't know what machine's on right now, because I'm looking at the design in the software, and it's just under 14,000 stitches. It is Chaco. It's C-H-A-C-O, I think. I don't think there's an L. It's by Clover. So yeah, Clover is the brand. And I want to say, Does it say on the back how to spell it? Oh, it does. C-H-A-C-O liner by Clover. And they make these in different colors too, but they wash off easily, they brush off easily. Let me delete this design. I don't know what this is doing. Okay. Set. Yeah, okay, now we're fine. Now we're at 14,000. I don't know what machine was saying before. Just reload it real quick. All right, so let me jump ahead where we were. Oops, okay. So we are on, nope, off that. We did that. We did that. Okay, so now we are on to the little tongue, I believe. I need to take, so my machine I normally use, it's a 9x14. He's fine. Gus is visiting me down here. And I love the machine, but it threw a sensor error at me that was like super bizarre. And I need to take it to the shop, and I just haven't taken it up there yet. So I'm back on my brother, my 6x10, and it's a great little workhorse machine, but the screen is so tiny. And sometimes I'm like, what step is this? Because I can barely see this. And obviously it was trying to give me like over double the amount of stitches for some reason. That was bizarre. We're good now. Now we're only a 41 minute to stitch out, which that sounds more appropriate, not 83 minutes for this design. Should not take that long. And I know I have my machine set to low stitching speed, but that's a little much. To his face, her face, his face, whatever your waffle is. I'm in. All right, let's do his eyes and his mouth. Word about marking pens. So I know I showed you the chocolate liner, and I mentioned that you can use a Sharpie and marker on a pinch too, or a Sharpie and masking tape on a pinch too. So there's been a lot of pluses and minuses about these pens. These are Pilot friction pens, that erasable pens. I have a love-hate relationship with these because these will come back. So if you mark fabric with these will 100% come back. So they're heat disappearing ink. So when you hit the iron with it, it goes away. However, two things are wrong with this. One, if it's exposed to cold, so say you put it on a sweatshirt and you walk outside and it's cold outside, the marks are going to come back. Number two, it sometimes can bleach out darker fabrics. So if I were to put like this on a sweatshirt, like this color, it will leave a lighter spot in the sweatshirt. So I only use these when I sew, and I only use them things I can mark in the seam allowances or things on the back side that I'm not going to see. So just be careful about these. They're great if you use them kind of sparingly where no one's going to see them, but just be careful when you're using them for something on the front, because you will not be happy when you see the marks come back later. So that's why I kind of default to the chocolate pens. I know they're going to come off. It's just chalk. I have heard from some people, if you're using white, the blue doesn't come off as cleanly. I've never used the blue color before, but I have heard that. I've never had issues with the pink color that I have. I see it on both dark and light fabrics, and it does come off, but that's just a little... I have heard that rumor that the blue isn't as... It can kind of stain some white fabrics. Ew, it's like you just broke my thread there. What are you doing? I'm not the only one that like jumps when the machine makes a weird sound, like what just happened? And then it's fine, but it just made a really unhappy sound for a second. right, so now we got the cheeks, and then we are ready to move on to the text. Get those little cheeks in there. One thing I've talked about before too, I didn't do this time, a lot of times after each step, I like to stop and trim those like loose threads. So there's no chance of that getting stuck under this. Did not do that this time, mostly because I'm tired and I wasn't thinking. So I'm just gonna watch it. And if I feel like that little piece here, if you can see this little black thread here is gonna get under the cheek, I think we'll be okay, but I'll stop it and trim it if I need to. Yeah, we're good. But I do like to trim those jumps as I go normally. Just so I don't get trapped under anything. It's just a good habit. Much like checking your bobbin before you start, which I did not do. And notice I took the sweatshirt off twice and still didn't check my bobbin. So we're just going on a wing and a prayer that I have enough bobbin in there. I kind of love him. He's super cute. I think we need we need like a bag tag or a bookmark with him on there too. Or a patch. He needs to be a patch too. Have his little white highlight, and then we are on to the text. Or whatever color we're gonna make the little highlight here on the bottom left. Up to you. Oh, I got something in my eyeball. Oh, waffle fondue is cute too. Oh, you know, cork would be a great background for the waffle. And honestly, cork is fantastic at like laundering and durability. So cork is a fantastic option for applique. Okay, so we're ready to go to the text. So here, now that we have this down, I'm going to start pulling these magnets off the top. So I just kind of pull them off, and then I'm just going to reach underneath and pull those 3 back. So I got 3 here. I'm just going to reach underneath And I'm going to pull off all 3 of those. I got 3. So that way my top is totally clear here. I'm going to leave it in the white, actually. I like the white. So again, just go in, make sure that you're in there. Since we're at the top again, this is a good chance to kind of recheck your positioning, make sure nothing's underneath. Why do you keep wanting to leave this on me? Back. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. I keep hitting it with like my hip and it keeps turning my screen on. All right, so I'm here, I'm good, I've checked. Go ahead and position it in there and start your test. I'm still leaving the magnets, or if you've had pins in, take those out. I'm still leaving those on the bottom just to support that, but as soon as I get that on there and go to stitch at the bottom, I'm going to pull those off too. The only reason I don't use, so I love to sew with cork, and I do love cork. The only reason that I don't use it a lot for appliques is just because it's a little pricier than vinyl. So I kind of hoard the cork that I have, and I'll use it when I do like certain in the hoop designs, like little wallets and things, but I kind of hoard it and don't use them for appliques and stuff as much, but that's the only reason. This cork's a great option, really, for almost anything in the hoop. I do love cork. Again, just keep an eyeball on this and make sure nothing's kind of going under there. Sometimes it kind of shifts on you, and this is why this isn't a walk away from your machine kind of project. You want to sit with it. Because I promise you, the second that you walk away to go to the bathroom or get a drink, something's going to slide under your hoop, and you'll be this far in the process and it'll happen. So always just keep an eye on it. I even kind of, as I'm going, kind of reach under and still just make sure. I'm paranoid. Cork is expensive, and I've found that like when you find like cheaper cork somewhere, typically the quality is not as good. So I stick with the shops that I know have good quality cork. Cork and Cloth is my favorite. So Hungry Hippies has cork sometimes, I think, and hers is really nice. Emmeline Bags, if you're in Canada, I love Emmeline, so she's got great cork too. Hers is actually from Cork, which is a Canadian cork company, so it's really good quality cork. But I tried some of the cheaper stuff. I don't know where I even got it from, but I was like, oh, this is not, it's not great. And it was still more expensive than vinyl, so I just stick with the shops that I know have really good high quality cork. Oh, and PSA, if you have a Costco or a Sam's membership and you're in the US, I think they have Costco in Canada, check in at the end of seasons for shirts and sweatshirts. This sweatshirt I'm stitching on right now, I got at the end of the year, last year, I want to say, and they were $6 each, which is like cheaper than you're going to find like Jiffy shirts or anything else. And I really like these sweatshirts, so I stocked up then and got several. But if you do have like a membership to like a wholesale club and they sell clothes, that's a great place to look. They'll be offloading stuff kind of in a season. I think I bought 10 of these sweatshirts to stitch on. They have them in a few different colors, but always kind of check in there too. Oh, Caroline, yeah, it's always a bummer. I have some novelty vinyl like that too that I have, and I have a love-hate relationship with novelty covers. They're great for things like passport covers or little, you know, kind of like areas that you don't have to do a lot of stitching on. In fact, I've got this stuff under here right now, but I have this stuff, which for a passport cover, that, look, I cut that crooked, passport cover, and this vinyl here, it's great for like this because it only has the lines of stitching, but it's not great at applique. It does not handle satin stitching. It does not handle fill stitches. So they're just great for kind of simple projects. So I do like projects like wallets, passport covers, little card cases, gift card holders, for the vinyls like that that aren't going to hold up for anything else. So you always find a project for things. If you don't like the vinyl that you got, it's disappointing. You can find something that you can use it for. But you kind of live and learn about some of that stuff, unfortunately. I too have bought cheap cork and did not like it. Because this was, it's still sitting in my heat press when I made them. So remember we did the notebook covers and it was flopping open on you and all that? This has been sitting under my heat press and look how flat that is. Like with nothing in it. So that is my PSA about when you make the notebook covers and things like that. Stick them under something heavy, or even your bags. We did that. Was it last week we did bags? Stick them under something heavy. You don't have to press them, but that weight alone will, look how flat that is. Like, right here. So don't underestimate something heavy on top and how much that'll flatten things out for you. But this is the cork, and I do love this cork. This is from Cork and Cloth. All right, so we are down to the bottom. So now, time for me to kind of do a check-in. I'm gonna pull my magnets off of the bottom here. I don't have to be quite as concerned about the fabric at the top anymore, but I'm gonna double check the fabric at the bottom and get those magnet bases out from underneath. Where did you go? Don't make me pull you off the hoop. You were just there. Oh, I see you. Get those all off there. Go ahead and readjust as you need to with any of your clips to make sure things are out of the way. And then we're gonna go on the bottom. Put my pink in. Y'all, if I make it through this entire live tonight without having dropped anyone, without having made a mistake, the first time ever. It took me 10 weeks to get it together. I'm jinxing it right now. That's what's happening. I'm on the very last part. So I feel like we're in the home stretch. Yeah, I actually have my iPad here, so let me want that stitching. Can I tag a group in these comments? Maybe. She's got a group. It's Cork and Cloth. Oh, no, that's a page. But I want for a group. Really? Aha, I found it. Hopefully that, let me know if that actually pops up as a link for you that you can click on. For that is Cork and Cloth. She is in, I think she's in Pennsylvania. I think Lisa's fantastic. So I do love her cork, and she's got a ton of variety. And I know it is more expensive than vinyl. It is. Does that work that you can click on that in one click? Maybe not. Let me find. Let me get on and just see if I can put a link in. Aha. Copy. Go back to Facebook. There we go. There we go. Well, at least I got the website up, but her group is Cork and Cloth. Yeah, I don't know how links work in the live, but that is her website, and copy and paste that. And she's super sweet. And for the final week, I'm actually wearing like sweatpants and not PJ pants for the live too. So I'm like super professional tonight. Let's see if I can make it through. Oh, sweet. Okay. Okay, got it. And just if anyone's watching, as soon as this wraps up, if you are watching and you have not gotten this Feel Better bundle, it is coming off the intro price tonight. I'll still have it up, but I think I'm going to raise the value of the bundle because there's a lot, it put a lot of work into it. So I think I'm going to raise it to like, I'm thinking like honestly 35 or 40 for the designs that are in there. So if you have not yet gotten it, this is like your last, you need to get it for the $10 because it's going to go up. So that's my PSA if you didn't already get it. I don't want to yell at me tomorrow morning when they come in and it's a lot more, but. And I think what I'll do for the next skill builder, I'm still going to have an intro price. I think I'll do the $10 intro price like I did for this, but I don't think I'm going to have it for the duration of the bundle like I did for this one. I think I'm going to do like the pre-sale, and then I'm going to raise the price of it. So you'll still have a chance to get it for the lower price, but it's not going to stay that price the whole time like it did this time. Just because it was a lot of work. And I love doing it, and I had fun, and I'm so glad I did this and that you guys got value in it. But I think that's kind of the course we'll take. So when I have it up, I'll have you for intro price. I'll probably do the 10 intro again, and then I'm gonna raise it up. Because I lost count of how many designs that I did in this. We did 10 projects, but I know some of the projects I included like a couple designs for each. Like I did 2 for the stuffies, and then 4 like we did the Zap Tab eyelet and bookmark together, and then we did I think 2 different bookmarks for like a shaker and that one. So there was like several in there. So I don't know how many, there was definitely more than 10 designs for sure. And you guys made this fun to do. So thank you for being here and participating and all your feedback. So I really enjoyed doing it. And I hope that everyone has had a chance and like kind of got their comfort zone, or at least, you know, gave you some confidence to try something new. I think the hardest part about some embroidery projects is it just seems really overwhelming. And some people just don't learn as well from written directions, so seeing it done is helpful for some. So, oh, Carol, you're sweet. Thank you. But I want to make sure it's affordable for everybody, but also not undersell myself. So I think the intro pricing is the way to do that. So you can get in, you can get it. But then also, so, you know, I'm charging fairly for the work that I'm putting in, if that makes sense. So we are almost done, and I'm still, knock on wood, we haven't messed up yet. So I'm confident this will be our final week, and there's not a mistake yet. It took me 10 weeks to get there. And I think for some people too, having a set project every week that you can kind of do with somebody else is helpful too. And kind of asking questions as you go. Because I might have a video on a certain project design, but it's not the same as like having kind of that live, like, hey, how do I do this? Or why is it doing this? Or and things like that. So, Okay, yeah, I know, you're kind of like waiting for him to be ready for your machine. So hopefully it's all going to be here ready for you. So it's there. And hopefully it's sooner than later for you. So I'm fortunate, at least, like my big workhorse machine is down. I take it to the shop. I need to just do that tomorrow and go to Costco and knock out errands and be done. I've been putting it off for like 4 weeks now, just taking it in there. But I'm lucky enough that I have 2 kind of backup machines, and my brother's 6x10 is a fantastic machine. It's just not the same. And I've got a Baby Lot too, which is it's a great machine, but it's super finicky about everything, so I don't really drag her out a whole lot. Yeah, Crystal, exactly. And then just kind of look at it. And also sometimes too, I feel like people can be uncomfortable asking questions. So, because I hear from people all the time that, sorry, this is a dumb question or whatever. Like, it's not a dumb question, but obviously we didn't know when we started too, so don't feel bad about asking. There's a lot of things I didn't know when I started. I remember, even like, I just get annoyed when I see people getting nasty with people that are just starting out, or even people that, you know, been doing this for a while, they're trying something new, and they ask a question, they like are condescending about it. It's just super, that's a pet peeve of mine, because I've been treated that way before. Like, you know, I remember when I started knitting, like going into my first yarn shop, and they were so snotty and condescending about everything, and I hated that. And I just don't want that to be anyone's experience in any of my groups or anything. I don't like that. Yeah, Deborah, the brother that I have said this is the older, the 1700 is like the newer version. This is an Innovis NQ 1600. It's like, I don't know, it's the older version of it, but it does. It stops between each letter and cuts the jumps for me. So I am lucky that I have that. But I kind of missed out because I like to do on my bigger hoop that I have on my machine. I really like the larger size stuffies when I do them. And so now I'm kind of more limited on that. I just need to take it to the shop. I'm just such an introvert and a hermit that the idea of having to like go in somewhere and like, talk to somebody, I've just been putting it off. Good, Coco, you shouldn't ask. You should not be afraid to ask questions. I'm still learning stuff all the time. Like, I've learned stuff from you guys. I've learned stuff in the group. I've learned stuff from my testers that I didn't know. I mean, it's always about, like, if you're thinking about the question and asking it, I guarantee you somebody else is thinking about it too. So, that's the way I see it. I am a hermit, Kelly. I promise. Listen, I went into Target earlier, so we had that birthday party, and I had to go in and we had to get a present for a 7-year-old. And there were some people standing in the aisle in the middle with their cart in the middle of the aisle, and I was like annoyed. I was so annoyed within 5 minutes of walking into the store. I'm like, this is why I don't go in public. Because I just get so easily annoyed by people in public. Yeah, it's actually okay. My magnet, it looks like it's close, but it's actually like above where the presser foot's going to be, so we're good. It looks closer than it is on the camera. It's a good inch above it in real life. All right. So now we're on the last thing. Yay, still haven't a mistake. Super excited. First time for everything. And I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. It's kind of coming up on me a little bit here. Just to make sure it stays nice and flat. So I'll just keep my hand there for a second until we get going, just so I don't get any like wrinkles there between the 2 lines. And Kelly, you're just so, when I went on vacation, we stopped at Disney, and I actually got to hang with Kelly for a while when I was down so she's just saying, like, if I like you, I'll talk to you. I'm like, and I like people that I like, but the general public, I just get annoyed by. Because I feel like everyone's so oblivious to how their behavior and things affect other people, and it just drives me crazy. But see, Kelly, I like you. Oh, so I have the cell air too, and I love my cell air. It's fantastic. I just threw that sensor air at me. Honestly, I've had it unplugged now for probably over a month. And I almost wonder if I should plug it back in and like see if maybe having it unplugged for a month like fixed whatever the sensor error was, because it was stitching fine until it decided to throw this error at me. So that's my plan B. Should I just go ahead and plug it back in and try and see if like that issue just went away? I don't know, it might. It is so peoply. I think we need a too peoply design. And of course my kids are like very social and want to do all the activities. So I'm like going around places with them, and I go to these sporting events and I kind of just sit off to the side and hope no one talks to me and cheer on my kid. Which is actually not true with my youngest, because we're friends with her bestie's parents and they're fantastic. Love them, and so we sit together. But when I go, other than that, like I pretty much just don't want anyone to talk to me in public. I don't know. I probably could look at the update too. I didn't even think about it. It was literally just, it was like, you know, it was some weird sensor. It was stitching just fine. It was like this sensor error popped up. So it's not like anything. It's something with the software, I'm sure. It's not like an issue with like, oh, look at that. My bobbin thread is almost empty. See? It was warned in the beginning. Didn't do it. And this is where we are. And now I gotta put more bobbin thread in. Almost made it. Dang it. All right. Let's see if I can go this way. Dag-nat it. All right. Putting more bobbin in. All right. When I put my bobbins in too, I like to pull a lot of extra thread off. Sometimes I find there's like a film or something on it, so that kind of works better. And I have to look at my diagram. I don't care how many bobbins I put in place, I still have to check that diagram because I'm convinced I'm not putting it in right. All right, let's get this back in. And then do my check again to make sure nothing's there. Luckily, I always got to check the small area down here, not the whole sweatshirt anymore. And I'm going to back it up a few stitches just to go to make sure that I'm not going to have any bald spots there. We're back at it. So I'm fortunate in my area. I've got like a brother dealer, but to be honest, like they're not my favorite because I've taken 2 machines to them. One, they didn't fix it all and it was fixed. And the second one, they fixed halfway. It was a sewing machine, and like I trashed that machine, and that was my fault. And there was a bunch of stuff that needed fixed, and the biggest issue was that the hand wheel was jammed and wouldn't turn backwards at all. Which I know you're not going to turn those machines, like turn the wheel backwards. It's a regular course of sewing. I get it's not good for it, but it should turn back a little bit. You can lift your needle or whatever, and it was like jammed up. And then their answer was, well, you're not supposed to turn it backwards. I get that, but also I need to be able to. Like they still should turn it. Turned before, and then it just stopped. So I kind of have this. And the other time they did great on the machine too. So I kind of am like, ugh. And the only other dealer is like 2 hours away from me, and I don't know if they're any better or not. But I've heard good things about the dealer close to me. I just had bad experiences, but I'm also just hesitant to take the machine in too. Kelly, what is cold for you in Florida? You say cold. Are you gonna say like when it gets down to 70? You were wearing jeans when it was like 95 degrees out. Which, don't get me wrong, I can rock some jeans in the summer too, but not like that. 60s. I mean, okay, fair. I would wear a sweatshirt in the 60s, for sure. Almost there. Oh, look, we're done. It is done. Okay, so look away if you get seasick. I'm going to swing everyone back over the table, and we're going to unhoop this and clean it up. So, look away, look away. If you get seasick, did I flip you over? Oh, I flipped you. What happened? You're looking at my ceiling. You don't know who wants to look at that. What is going on? Nope, no one wants to see that. I lost you. What did I do? Oh my God. What did I do? Heavens to Bessie. I'm going to flip my phone around then. I don't know what I did. I don't know how to fix that, so I'm flipping around. Enjoy my ceiling in my basement. I told you. Look, I made it this far, and I didn't mess up, and look what happens. All right, now we're back. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what I hit, but I am back. All right, so we're back over the table. Let me get this stuff out of the way. That's what I get for saying I hadn't messed up or dropped anyone. I flipped the camera around, and now I can't get it back. All right, here, get my clips off. I don't know where my clip bucket is now. Oh, it's over here. Get my magnets off. Take my hoop off, and then we'll clean this up. All right, so here's my backside. Not my backside, but the backside of the shirt. You know what I meant. It's late. I'm tired. Okay, I'm just going to trim this up. Just get as close as I can on this. I don't worry too much. And I'd probably go in with some applique scissors and clean it up a little bit more, but we are okay for now. And I'm gonna flip this. And also I would take a second and I would just trim up those loose threads back there too. But you guys know how to do that. And flip it over. And here it is. My waffly cute sweatshirt. You can see the chalk lines are already gone. So I would just trim that up. Can see. Am I on the camera? Now I can't tell anymore because I'm totally off here. So I'm off my sweatshirt. We're nice and centered. We are good there. The lighting is terrible there. I don't use Tender Touch, Carol, but I'm glad you said that because I have this product and I have not used it yet. But sometimes the stabilizer on the back can be kind of itchy, especially for like toddlers or kids that don't like the feeling of like the extra threads or where the threads are kind of rough. So they make a product I cannot find right now for the life of me. I love when I purchase things to use and I put them somewhere and I think they're in a good place and then I can't find it. Is this it? No, that's not it. Anyways, they make this product and the stuff that I bought is not called Tender Touch, but it's called something. Oh, I found it. Aha, I found it. I don't know what this is called. It's on All Stitch. I can find it and link it too, but it's the same kind of idea. What you do, this stuff fuses to the back and it covers all kind of those scratchy parts from the threads. So you just cut a little piece of this and it covers your stitches. So that way it's nice and soft on the back side for kids or just even if you don't like the feeling of like anything scratchy or whatever. I think that's what the same thing as Tender Touch, Carol. The same idea is it just covers up those stitches. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't burn the threads on the back. I haven't had an issue with them coming out. I only burn the threads on like patches and things like that. Like this heavy satins, but these I honestly just go in and I just trim them up. And my 9-year-old, like her favorite thing in the world is to cut loose threads off of embroidery designs. So I kind of let her have at it, and she goes in there, and I would be doing a lot neater of a job if at some point, but we're not gonna sit here and watch me cut threads for 10 minutes on camera. Nobody wants that. But yeah, you can use that product to kind of cover it up. If you don't like the scratchy thing, if that is bothering you. But the same thing applies if you're putting something on a denim jacket or a zip-up hoodie. I've got some zip-up hoodies too, and they're way easier to stitch on than the hood this way because you can open them up. So it makes it way easier, but you would just do the same process of finding the center on the back of your hoodie or the back of your denim jacket and then putting that in place. Because your idea is you just want to get this nice and straight and centered. So this is the hardest thing that you can hoop, in my opinion, is this hooded sweatshirt. And if you did that and you get that down and just kind of take the time to squeeze things out of the way, that's the hardest part, is just finagling the fabric, the excess fabric. But we are free. We have a sweatshirt. It's not stitched to anything in the back, and that's it. So hopefully that made sense and you got it. And any questions, feel free to ask me. And I'm looking forward to the next bundle. Thank you all for joining me and being here. Hope everyone found this helpful. And show me your stitch outs too, whether you did the tote or if you did the sweatshirt or just anything else. So that's all I got. So kids shirts and onesies are a pain, especially too. I personally have not done the split designs, Nancy, on the sweatshirts. I just haven't. I don't know. They're kind of cute, but I just haven't done it. I'm kind of I don't know if I'm meticulous enough to get them straight. I don't trust myself for that, to be honest. I feel like I'd get them off, but that is just me. They're super awesome. So maybe one day I'll get it. That's something I'm afraid of doing, is getting that off. So maybe one day I'll get up here and I'll do it. But so I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and looking forward to doing this for the next bundle, and I will see you guys later. All right. Bye.